Hey, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how I install my U-part wigs. For this video, I am working on my best friend. She's my model. I've already shampooed her, gave her a treatment, and now I'm blow drying her hair with my Dyson. I'm using one of my Kinky Straight wigs from my affordable collection. I will put the website in the description box below. I know a lot of people struggle with getting a perfect middle part. What works for me is I start my comb at their nose and I just work my way back, and I always get it right in the center. Now everyone's hairline is thinner than the rest of their hair, and that thin part won't cover your tracks. So I just part it off so that I know not to start a braid up there, because if I start a braid up there, which means I have to stitch on that braid, there won't be enough hair to cover that top track. And this right here is crucial. This will make and break your install. You have to have the wig there, and if you see, that's going to help me line out how much hair I need to leave out. Because, you know, if you leave too much, it won't fit. If you don't leave enough hair out, you'll have excess parts of the wig hanging over. So that helps me get the perfect amount out. Once you're done, well, for me, I just go in just to double check and make sure I left the right amount out. You don't want to start braiding right away, because sometimes it'll fit different once everything is braided down. So I just pull the hair back as flat as possible and then double check, and then I go in to leave out, you know, a little more if needed. And for her, it was needed. I don't like my top braid, that anchor braid, I don't like it too thin. Not that it's a lot of tension, because it's not, but everything depends on your anchor braid, and if it's too thin, it can pull. So just make sure that braid is thick enough to where it can support the wig without pulling their hair. This is optional. I'm leaving some hair on her edges because if the wind blows, I just need a little something there to cover any of her tracks. You don't have to leave it out. If you want to, you can just swoop that back into the braid. It's not needed. Now I have my two anchor braids at the top around her leave out. I do the same thing around the rest of her hair. So I just make sure I have a good anchor braid around the perimeter of her hair. That's very important. Now, once you have that, the middle is free game for you to do whatever you want. You just have to make sure that it's flat. The braids have to be flat, but you can braid any way you want as long as they're flat. They don't need to be really skinny. They just need to be flat. With the rest of them, if you notice, I'm braiding off to the side. If I were to take those three braids and braid going down, it would create a lump when I turn it to stitch it like I'm doing right here. So instead, I just braid in the direction of where I'm going to stitch, so it's completely flat back there. And this is what we're looking like. Nice and flat. So now I'm going to flat iron the wig. I'm using After Party by Bedhead. I love it for extensions. It just gives a nice silky finish. I'm using my Babyliss flat irons. And I just love this wig so much. Again, I have these on my website. This is a part of the affordable collection. So this is the 100% human hair wigs. I do have virgin hair wigs. The only difference is my virgin hair lasts a lot longer, but this is actually our third time installing this wig, so this does last. We had our other friend there and I had to adjust my friend again because she was getting too excited. I'm not mean to her. This is just how we play around. So I just had to readjust her. So I have this sped up. It may look like I'm stitching tight, but I am not stitching tight at all. I don't like anything pulling. So starting off, I'll stitch a lot closer together to make sure it's in there. I'm not pulling real tight, just enough. And then I proceed to just stitch around that anchor braid. And that's all I'm doing across the entire head. I'm just gonna go and stitch the wig to the anchor braid. I do use 2 needles. So once I go around here, when I go to this side, this is a different needle. As you can see on her left side of her face, that other needle is still there. I'm gonna stitch them both around and meet them in the back. And once I'm done stitching in the back, I'll cut just enough so that I can tie a few knots to make sure it's stitched good. And then I'll cut the excess thread off. And that looks so good. So it's time to flat iron her leave out. I am using Super Skinny by Paul Mitchell. I went and grabbed my smaller flat irons. This is Babyliss again. I only use this to hit her roots, and then I'm gonna go in with my larger flat iron to hit the rest of her hair. But that Super Skinny by Paul Mitchell, it creates a nice shine. Give her a nice polished look. What you just saw me spray was Heat Protecting by Nairobi. And she usually wears her hair in protective style. She's a braid girl. So I did not want silky extensions for her. I wanted something that would blend. And as you can see, this has a flawless blend with her texture. And if she goes out in humidity and her hair puffs up, it's still gonna blend. So this was just perfect for her. When you get hair that matches your natural texture, it doesn't require you to flat iron your hair often, and that's what I did not want. I did not want her to touch her hair up. Now I'm using my texture shears just to go in and get any ends or split ends that I may have missed. I just want to make sure it blends because I did trim her ends before I installed it. And this is the final result. And look, you cannot even tell where her natural hair ends. I hope you guys like this video. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.